The people are generally disgusted with what's going on. I've never witnessed a campaign like the one in the United States where so many people care so little about either candidate. Yeah, they both have, particularly the Trump side, they have their true Trumpers, but the majority don't care about this. And again, the majority have no idea what's going on globally. I mean, did Taylor Swift get laid last night is the news, they don't know what's going on. They have no idea about what's going on, the Ukraine war, the Israel war, and there's no concern. So the people are ready for something new. But you got to have money to make it happen. You can't do it without any dough. And that's the reality. I launched Occupy Peace, by the way, over a decade ago. I had a big rally here in Kingston, New York. This was the first capital of New York State, third Dutch settlement, more pre-revolutionary war stone buildings here than anywhere else in America. And I own 3 on the most historic corner in America, where the only place with pre-revolutionary war stone buildings on each corner. And I bought them because the seeds of democracy was sown here. And I had a big peace rally on September 28th. Scott Ritter, Judge Napolitano, and others. Zero coverage in the media. Zero. Streets were closed, packed. Could you imagine if the billionaires gave $1 billion for peace? We'd have it like that. But they're just pieces of crap. But they're a lot smarter than I am. Because when they die, they're going to make these huge coffins and take all their money with them and live happily ever after. For over 110 weeks, we've been doing job losses in the Trends Journal. And in another one, businesses going out of business. They got this chain of crap food over here, Denny's. They just closed 150 places. One after another, they're closing down, closing down, closing down. It's hardly reported. And again, they just pump up the news of what NVIDIA's doing or whatever, a couple of AIs and this and that. Again, tracking trends is the understanding of where we are and how we got here to see where we're going. When I was a young man, they had things called grocery stores, hardware stores, drug stores, stationery stores, shoe stores. Locally owned, not anymore. They're all chains. The slimeball politicians did away with the antitrust laws that prohibited the Walmarts and the Lowe's and the Krogers from taking over the country. They did away with it. They get paid off. Morons and imbeciles call it campaign contributions. Adults call it bribes and payoffs. I talked about 6 companies running 92% of the media. That little slime ball, Bill Clinton. And by the way, this was a t-shirt that I had made up when Clinton ran in 1992. Beware of Slick Willie. A little slime ball, arrogant piece of nothing. Nothing. Hey, but I got the money behind me. This guy deregulated more things than he killed the Democratic Party. That was the end of the Democratic Party. He gave us the 1996 Federal Communications Act that deregulated the communications industry. There were thousands of independently owned radio and TV stations and newspapers in America until he regulated and the bigs bought up everything. This is the same slime ball that brought China into the World Trade Organization. I tell you, I'm up here in Kingston, New York. There used to be factories here. Oh, there were factories all over, all gone. We're going to China. We got slave labor over there. We got really make a lot more money, get manufactured over there. That's Bill Clinton. And again, one after another. Oh, he did away with the Glass-Steagall Act too. Oh, and Jimmy Carter, the guys everybody knows, Jimmy Carter. That was a slime ball that did away with the regulations where they used to have the banks in the United States could only be interstate, in the state. They couldn't be intrastate into other states. So now we have Bank of America. They were only in California. Now they're everywhere. Again, the politicians get paid off. This is one of my t-shirts. You can get it at Trends Journal. Just to show you the way I feel about this. Can you read that? Can you see that? And there's the back. All right? End of story. You got a crime syndicate destroying a country near you. They only care about themselves. And as a Napolitano born in the Bronx, you call these guys out man to man, as we'd say back then and now, they wouldn't know whether to piss or shit. They're little gutless boys and girls. Follow your leader? Where are you going to lead? Where do you follow your leader? What am I, 6 years old? That has to be the attitude of the people. Yeah, follow your leader. They'll lead you into hell. Follow your leader. Look at the crap they make up. Oh, His Majesty. What, some slime ball from a crime syndicate? Oh no, he's His Majesty. He's dressed up in his costume with all his medals, rolled out the red carpet. Grow the hell up. There's a big immigration issue in America. Again, just to put it into context, when I was a young kid, I heard my parents, may they rest in peace, they wanted to bring their cousin Constantino into America. They couldn't do it. It was too hard to bring people in. This is in the 1950s. The Vietnam War breaks out. When they started the Vietnam War, they eased the immigration laws to get more guys to come in because there was drafting all the guys. And then in my book, Trends 2000, I wrote about the H-1B visas. When the internet revolution began in the early 1990s, they needed labor, and they didn't want to pay the American people a lot of money, so they'd had this H-1B visas to bring in cheap Indian and Chinese and other labor. Again, you got to see where it's going. Now the immigration's flooding in, and you know why? They need cheap labor because the chains own everything and they pay the people nothing. You go to any of the big chains, I don't care which one, you'll see a sign on the door, help wanted, part-time, full-time. Half the people can't speak English. The bigs own everything. This is better than the old plantation system where you had to house and feed them. Now you just give them enough money, get the hell out of here and come back tomorrow. And these people that are leaving their countries where they're suffering, this is better than nothing for them. So they're happy to have these jobs. You go to any construction job around, most of the people aren't speaking English. So they're bringing in more and more cheap labor. They're not only doing it here, they're doing it in Germany. They're even saying it. They have a labor shortage, they're saying. No, they don't. So they want the cheap labor so the bigs could keep making more money. Again, go back to the BRICS. They've had enough of the United States socioeconomic and geopolitical hegemony. They're tired of it. America became the country that our founding fathers fought against, Great Britain. The business of Great Britain, the sun never sets on the British Empire. We'll kill and slaughter people all over the world. We love war. So, what happened after World War I? You had enough war? The pound went way down because of all their wars, and the dollar took over. Now the United States became that same country. Over $1 trillion we spent when you put the military-industrial complex in the intelligence agencies a year. Tens and tens and tens and countless of trillions of dollars to keep fighting these wars. The dollar is only strong because interest rates are high. The lower interest rates fall, the deeper the dollar goes. It's the beginning of the death of the dollar. The deeper the dollar falls, the higher gold prices go because gold is dollar-based. So it's cheaper for other countries to buy gold. This is just the beginning. One of my other books, 1986, Trend Tracking. Far better than Megatrends, Time Magazine. Began my career when I started buying gold when the Iranian conflict broke out in the 1970s. And they taught Americans to hate Iran, not knowing, of course, that the United States and Winston Churchill, the MI6 and the CIA overthrew the democratically elected government of Mossadegh in 1953 in Iran, because he said that oil does not belong to Anglo-Iranian Oil, better known today as BP, or Standard Oil, better known today as ExxonMobil. It's the Iranian people's oil. No, it's not. And they overthrew Mossadegh, brought in the Shah, the Savak, the secret police. Anyway, as people are learning to hate Iran, I said, I bet oil and gold prices will go up. And I started playing the futures markets. $10,000 bet, $5,000 in each. I brought to almost $750,000. That's when I quit my job and started trend forecasting. I lost a lot of the dough, but I made enough to keep going. The same thing is going on now. The people have no clue what's going on. All they're taught is to hate. When we go to gold, you have to look at the geopolitical situation. The Ukraine war and the Israel war. These two wars ramp up, gold prices are going to spike way, way beyond where they are now. It's the most precious safe haven asset of the precious metals. So they're not talking about the geopolitical consequences. We are on the verge of nuclear war. Israel, and they keep promoting how great they defeated Hamas, how they defeated Hezbollah. They're defeating Hezbollah. Again, I was a premature baby. I was in an incubator for a long time. And I grew up in the Bronx. I was born in 46. The bullies pick on the littlest kid. And of course, I learned how to fight right away, so that changed that tune. But Israel is bullying the little kids. What do you got? Lebanon, a country the size of Connecticut? What, about 5 or 6 million people? What do you got? Hamas, a tiny little thing in Gaza? What are you beating? You're blowing it all apart? And how many people live in Israel? Well, there are 9 million of them, 7 million of them are Jewish. Okay, 7 million versus 91 million Iranians. The bully is not going to beat Iran. The media and the liars could say all they want. Ain't no way, no how. So now, Iran, these are the Persians, very advanced, very advanced militarily. They've been building this up for decades, knowing that this was going to reach this point. Israel is nothing but a bully for the little guys. There's no way they're going to beat Iran. But what are they going to do? Look it up. The Samsung option. If they lose, they go nuclear, and they are reportedly have between 200 to 400 nuclear warheads. World War III has already begun. They're just going to make something to make it, quote, official, whether it's in a false flag, whatever it might be, whether it happens with Russia or Israel. Netanyahu said, you keep sending these weapons. Oh, what the EU just gave 35, 40 billion to Ukraine, money they stole from Russia to give to Ukraine so they can keep the war going. And Putin said, if we feel our country is being threatened, we're going nuclear. Again, get in the best shape you can, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. You're in the fight for your life. And united we stand, divided we die. This is serious what's going on. I've never been more concerned in my life. I mean, that there is no outrage at the genocide being committed against the Palestinian people. And now it's bombs away over Beirut and Lebanon, that there is no outrage over this, and that the governments are supporting this in the West is disgusting. And it's going to go into nuclear annihilation if we don't stop it. World War II isn't ancient history. Listen to John F. Kennedy's speech, June 1963. It's all about peace. He said, we should not go to war against the Soviet Union. These are very advanced people, technologically, culturally, scientifically. If we go to war against them, life on Earth will be wiped out in 24 hours. That was June. It was all about peace. Jack, you're dead. They killed him. 8 months later, they took us into the Vietnam War. So all these imbeciles and morons that are building these bomb shelters, life will be so wonderful after the nuclear explosions. You'll be as happy as can be. Again, it's up to the people to stop this. And if we don't unite for peace, it's going to be hell on earth. That's my greatest concern.